Hi, welcome to Strategy Sunday. I hope you guys have had a great couple of weeks with your new classes or the new personalities, and that you've enjoyed going back into school for a next amazing and exciting academic year. I just wanted to share in my Strategy Sunday today the strategy which I believe is a very humble, very overworked but misunderstood strategy, which is the visual timetable. I think so many of us know about the visual timetables. All of us that have been in any classroom knows a visual timetable has an impact somewhere. When I first started teaching, my view of a visual timetable, be it with SEN or anybody else, was about getting the children to work. And that should be the ultimate aim. But as I've progressed in my career and as I've progressed in understanding the idea of SEN, I think that visual timetable can be used for so many layers and so many other factors that a child with extra needs brings to your classroom. Just to add, mainstream colleagues, if you are using visual timetables or schedules, you are on to a winner. Just think about ourselves when we're in a training session. The first thing we look for is an agenda, because we want to know when that coffee break is coming. We want to know when we have to attend to the bit that we've really come for, and we want to know this part of around the day. And so it's really important to think about visual timetables or a schedule of some sort, even if it's written in your mainstream classrooms as well. But I'll go back now to my SEN world. So just to say that for me, a visual timetable has many layers. The layers are all about building up relationships, finding a part where you can compromise with a child who's capable of doing so, and motivation, structure, and supporting things like theory of mind and object permanence. These elements can all be supported by using a visual timetable in an effective manner. Most of us find that the visual timetable ends up at the back of the desk somewhere, or it's on the wall and it hasn't been changed for days, and that's okay because we're a very busy profession. But the visual timetable actually requires a little bit of time every morning, and maybe every afternoon depending on the child, maybe every session depending on the child. It just requires a little bit of attention for that next session, next day, whole week, whole term to go really well. And so for me, I use the visual timetable as a means of motivation, as a means of building relationships, as a means of giving a child who needs a little bit of control in their environment a feeling of control, as a means of structure. For me, all of these things come before getting a child to meaningful learning. You have to get past the barriers emotionally, psychologically, caused by the need before you can get to the learning. And the visual timetable is one of the best ways to share that environment effectively with the young person that you're trying to reach. So the very humble and very overused visual timetable actually has great impact if we can allow ourselves to give time to observation and time to wondering, what is it that I need to achieve now in the short term to get to the long-term goal of the learning. I think when all of that area is missed straight to the long-term learning, the long-term goal of learning, we actually find ourselves having to find the next strategy, because we haven't focused on this very effective strategy at the beginning. So for me, around visual timetables, take the time every day to change them. Take the time every session to change them if that's what that particular child needs, and take the time every week to reflect, to collaborate if that's what that child needs. So this is not, for me, the whole usage of a visual timetable. I think a visual timetable can have so many uses and have so many impacts. The now and next, the movement of a visual timetable. When do you move them? Why do you move it? All of these questions are really important for the individual child that you're working with, and that can only be found and seen in the moment of observation. So I'm happy to talk to anybody about visual timetables a little bit further, so feel free to message me to talk to me about your class, or talk to me about a child that you're working with, and I'm happy to share what my thoughts might be on that individual child. But just for a minute, and I'm sorry that my first strategy Sunday was a little bit blah, like visual timetables, come on, but I just wanted to stop for a minute and think about it differently, because if you're anything like I was at the beginning of my career, I'm only thinking about getting that child to the learning, when actually a visual timetable is about building up and breaking down the barriers that are taking them away from that learning. So I hope you've enjoyed this very first Strategy Sunday. I hope I haven't bored you with my very humble visual timetable, but I hope that you've got something out of seeing it differently for the next time you use it on Monday morning.